Hello, happy Friday, unless you're watching this on a different day, in which case, happy day. Welcome to a brand new little video expounding upon, exploring, digging a little bit deeper into today's Holy Spirit Love Note. For those of you who are in the US and you are watching this quite close to Thanksgiving, the day after, I hope that you had a lovely day with your family. I hope it was everything that you hoped it would be and that you had lots of fun and played games. For those of you who are not in the US, I hope you had a super duper Thursday. Today then, as I did yesterday, I'm continuing the experiment with sharing these videos, preparing them ahead of time, just a little bit. They're still recorded on the day that you see them. It just allows for flexibility in terms of where we publish them and all the rest of it. So, as is the essence of what we do at UEA, it's a bit of trial and error. But your encouragement from this, or your reminder if you need one, is those things that you are feeling niggled to do, those nudges that you get. I want, ideally, by me showing up and being quite transparent about, we're trying this and we're trying that, I hope it gives you that permission slip to do the same. Perfectionism is going to stop you in your tracks. And I didn't know we were going to touch on this today, but there we go. Somebody clearly needs that reminder. You cannot wait until everything is perfect before you go out and do it. You can't wait until all your ducks are lined up in a row before you take action. Yes, I do believe God is calling us forward as his people into excellence, regardless of what industry you're in. But there's a difference between excellence and perfectionism. And so this video is an example of that. You know, we've been trying different ways of doing it, releasing them via YouTube as a live video, which has its appeals, because there are on some days there were people around to comment as we watched. But there are disadvantages too. So whatever this means for you within the context of you moving forward in those things that God's niggling you about, take this as your permission slip to run with it. If you need a permission slip, you don't actually need permission from anybody. You know, if God has told you to do this, then you can run with it. But in case you're feeling a bit like, I'm not really sure, I maybe need a bit of encouragement, take this as your encouragement. With that reminder as well, of course, if you are enjoying these videos in our pop-up Facebook group, I would encourage you to come and get the full experience. Come and join us in the Blue House. uea.com/party-time is where you can do that. And you can come and join us, and we have our event. If you're seeing this before Sunday, we have our event on Sunday. We have the Zoom get-togethers on Monday, where we record the podcast and then explore that together afterwards. And from next week as well, as we explore the Should Shove a Challenge, you're going to get the advantage of the audio book version of UEA as well. We will later on today and over the weekend be releasing part 1 of the book. So where is my copy? It's here. Just to give some context. So the book is split into 2 unequal halves. And if I show you, where is the first bit? Oh, yeah, it definitely is 2 unequal halves. Yeah, so part 1 is this bit. Part 2 is this bit. And this is the bit that we're going to be exploring in the Should Shove a Challenge. But you ideally need this bit too. So we're going to release the audio of that later today and over the weekend. With that reminder as well, of course, if you are in the pop-up Facebook group and you, for whatever reason, you don't want to take advantage of our 30-day free trial and join all of the good stuff, you can still get a copy of the book. I shall put some links underneath this video or in the show notes or whatever, because it is on Amazon on Kindle, so you can get it straight away. It's our 2nd edition, so it includes the foreword, the Holy Spirit inspired foreword, which I am going to release in the Facebook group as well. I think I've done it on video somewhere too, but anyway. But ahead of Wednesday, which is December the 1st, when all the really good stuff happens, we are going to be releasing that introduction. And yes, in case you just heard that, I was trying to sit still, but I am wearing the jingly jumper today. Mostly because I'm going to go and visit a couple of my neighbours later on. And I'm hoping to put a smile on their face. So anyway, with that said, today's Holy Spirit Love Note is really the piece I want us to spend a moment focusing on, or I felt nudged for us to spend a moment focusing on, is this idea. Let me read to you the closing paragraphs of the closing paragraph of where it ended. Hold on, I need to load it in the Blue House. Bear with me. Because it's all about living in the reality of God's presence. But it's this closing piece that Holy Spirit said. What if you learn to walk into this and every day with a greater awareness of everything you're born into? As my child, you have an inheritance to claim. It's time to explore what that looks like. Yes, you can, of course, wait and explore it in the life to come, but why wait? And I keep getting little nudges, and we touched upon this yesterday a little bit as well, that it's really easy within the context of life, because let's be honest, life is busy and there's so much going on. It's really easy to get bogged down by right now. And actually, all of this right now plays into eternity as well. There are things that you are playing with right now which will have ripples into the life to come. And no, I don't know what that looks like. We don't know what that looks like. But the piece I keep getting reminded of, just because we don't know what it looks like, doesn't make it any less true. And so therefore, what I want you to consider today, or encourage you, your plaything, is I want to encourage you to explore today with Holy Spirit. What does it mean for you to step forward and move in that right now? Because like God was reminding us, you can wait. Even within the church, where you've got people who are really good, what's the word I'm looking for, Holy Spirit? Like, their intentions are good, really, people who are really devout and really, really love God, and yet they still somehow manage to not quite play out all of the pieces and explore all of the pieces with God that they could be exploring now. And I don't want you to miss out on that. I want us to explore everything that God has for us right now. And there are implications for this for you, but there are implications for this for your community, for your family, for your household, for the world. And yes, I know that sounds big and grand and huge. And the sun is about to come out, incidentally. I put my Christmas tree up a couple of days ago, and it's in the window. And so usually right about now, I would have the sun in my eyes. I don't have the sun in my eyes because the Christmas tree is like dappling it. So if I suddenly go spotty, that would be the reason why. That's a good way to keep this nice and short. Oop. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You can still hear me. That's the main thing. There are pieces. I know it sounds over dramatic to go, there's stuff that you're going to be exploring that is going to have an impact in the world. I know that sounds dramatic, and I know it's easy, therefore, to discount it and discredit it and go, that's too big to focus on. Actually, any whisper that you get that's too much to focus on, what if that was the enemy trying to stop you? Because the piece I keep getting niggled around is those areas where you find most resistance. It's often one of two things. You might sometimes get that unsettling sense of lack of peace. Sometimes people describe it as the grace having fallen off something, So that might be God nudging you going, no, that's not a good thing. However, at the same time, there will sometimes be resistance that comes up that's actually the enemy trying to stop you. And so those areas, and obviously, of course, you might, well, how do I figure out which is which? Ask God. He does not want to leave you confused and feeling like, floundering around. Explore it with him. Say to him, I am feeling this, this and this. Is this you encouraging me to put a break on this? Or is this the enemy trying to stop me because this is important? He wants to be known by you. And so, but what I'm starting to see and exploring a little bit more is those areas where we feel either the greatest resistance or sometimes temptation to act in a way that's not great is actually the enemy's way to stop us from going in a direction that's actually really powerful. And so I think it's time to start paying attention to that stuff, taking that stuff to God and exploring it with him. We said before, weeks and weeks ago, maybe months ago, this is an ultimate example of taking what the enemy meant for evil and turning it to good. If every time the enemy tries to give you a hard time and stop you in your tracks, you go and say, and take it to God, and actually use even all of that stuff to draw you deeper into relationship, that is really like going to the enemy forces. I'd stick a finger up or whatever that looks like. You can do this. We can take all of that stuff and go, okay, God, what do you say about this? So if you've been playing along and exploring these little playthings with Holy Spirit, your plaything really for today is to do, like it said at the end of the closing notes of the love note, explore what it looks like for you to claim your inheritance. What is that inheritance? What are those things that God is calling you into? It's important. It's the you part of Youier. I expounded on the IER part of Youier yesterday, and that piece is critical, and we don't want to be doing the you without the IER. At the same time, Ephesians 2:10, there is a plan and a purpose for your life. You're not an accident. Even if your mum or dad thought you were an accident, it is not an accident. Where you are right now is intentional. And one of the pieces that Holy Spirit was niggling me around yesterday I think it was that from our perspective, like lots of stuff feel really random. Like I was born in the UK in a part of the world where I'm not persecuted for being a Christian. You know, I can share this stuff without fear of persecution. I don't have to worry where the next meal is coming from. I share all this stuff from a place of privilege. And that's an accident from my perspective. Like I had no control over that whatsoever. And the same is true for you as well. But the reminder is that from God's perspective, none of it is an accident. And yes, it's easy to go, okay, I feel like, yes, I do feel really privileged, and it's not fair for somebody born in Afghanistan, North Korea, those migrants, this is going to date this video, but the migrants who lost their lives crossing the channel, all this stuff that happens, you'd call it's like an accident or a fate. It's not an accident. There is a plan and a purpose, and there is other stuff at play here. What I think is really important for us as people of privilege is actually, do you know what? Okay, God, I can talk about you and share and do all of this stuff without fear of persecution. Help me to walk this out in a way that does justice to that. It's time to claim that gift. It's time to go, okay, God, what does that look like? How do we explore all of this stuff? And we will be digging into this a little bit more on Monday as well. Just a quick heads up. With a reminder as well, of course, those of you who are enjoying these videos in the pop-up Facebook group, if you don't already get the Holy Spirit Love Notes, you can get them in the Blue House. You can join us for our party where you get the 30-day free trial. If you'd rather just join us as a free member, join via the ground floor, youier.com/join. Absolute worst case, if you don't want to do any of that stuff, you can read the Love Notes on the YouYear blog. You can listen to them on the Sam Says podcast. I shall put all of those links in the description or somewhere in the comments with this video. Because yes, I am excited about where we're going with the Blue House, and God is preparing the hearts of the perfect people who are ready to move forward in 2022 in everything He has for them. And at the same time, I want to make sure that you've got all of those options that you need. And, sometimes this is seasonal. You might be like, okay, I actually really don't have the space right now to be going too deep into this stuff. I just want to actually just read and absorb. That's absolutely fine. That's why the ground floor is free. So you can be part of community, have a safe space to explore all of that stuff without feeling like, oh, I need to do this and oh, I need to do that. There's no pressure. I really believe that you are where you are meant to be, and God will lead you and guide you and nudge you and encourage you forward. But really, this is about helping you have a safe space where you can walk out being YouYear, away from the usual nonsense that can happen online. Is it the same as meeting in person? Of course not. I can't physically hug you. Having said that, though, there are advantages to being online. We literally have members from all over the world: South Africa, Singapore, Canada, US, UK. We get to meet together. I wouldn't be able to physically have all these people in the same location without the technology that we have. And so I do really believe that this time and this purpose is not an accident. And so I'm excited for as we move forward and what that looks like. So anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this video. Those of you who are watching this in the morning room in the Blue House, carry on the conversation underneath this video. If you've got anything to share, I'd love to hear your thoughts around what it looks like for you to step forward and walk out that inheritance. And you can, of course, if you're in the pop-up group, you can share there as well. With that reminder, the pop-up group isn't going to be here forever. It's a pop-up group. It's only here till the end of the year. And so if you are enjoying that, I would really encourage you to move over to the Blue House. And it's only when you wear a noisy jumper that you realise how often you kind of move your hands and jingle stuff. Just saying. Anyway, have yourself a fabulous Friday, a wonderful weekend. Keep a lookout. We're going to be releasing the intro audio for the YouYear book in the Blue House today and over the weekend. Housekeeping reminder, Blue House members, we have our one-day event on Sunday. The link for that you need for Zoom is in the Blue House. It's in the recording room. And I think that's the end of the announcements. I think so. You don't need to register or anything. If you're in the Blue House, you're there. But if you do want to join us, you can do that. All of the details will be under this video. Anyway, have a lovely, lovely day. I should catch up with you. The next video like this will be on Monday. There won't be any videos Saturday or Sunday. So that's just a little housekeeping announcement. Thank you for being here. I should catch up with you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.